A lot of people don't get the iPhone X. They still want a normal home button and a normal screen and a normal fingerprint sensor. But they also want a really fast phone, and a phone that's really great at taking pictures, and a phone that doesn't cost $1,000. That's why Apple made this, a slightly better version of the same great phone they've already been making for the past 3 years. This is the iPhone 8. There's no question that the iPhone 8 is the best looking iPhone ever, tied at first with the iPhone X. Its design is a blend of the original iPhone and the iPhone 4, with the body of an iPhone 7, and the result you get is this beautiful slab of glass that feels like something you'd purchase at a high-end jewelry store. If you didn't think that the iPhone felt like a premium product before, just try this one. It comes in 3 colors, a new gold which is sort of a mix between old gold and rose gold that ends up looking a little bit pinker than I'd like in most lighting conditions, silver which just looks really white, and space gray which puts a heavy emphasis on the gray part. There are also 2 configurations, 64 gigs for the base model and 256 gigs for the top tier. I got the gold 64 gig model, but if I had to do it again, I'd probably grab a silver one. You've got a very similar screen to iPhones from Christmas past, with the same 1334 by 750 resolution and 326 pixels per inch, but this time you've got a new feature called True Tone. Just like a sheet of paper, the new screen will automatically change shades of white depending on your environment. If you're somewhere with warm lighting, the screen will look a little bit more orange, and if you're somewhere with cool lighting, the screen will look a little bit more blue. It's a really subtle feature, but I really like it. It's one of those things you'll never appreciate until you try going back to a non-True Tone display and end up wondering why that screen always looks off color. Something else that's new on the front that you can't see is improved stereo speaker audio. It's not insanely better than it was on the iPhone 7, but it's less tinny and the bass is a little deeper. The balance between the left and right speakers has also been upgraded ever so slightly. Because there's a glass back now, the iPhone 8 finally supports wireless charging. It works with any Qi-enabled pads, which is really cool considering Apple is usually all about their own proprietary tech. I haven't tested the feature out for myself because plugging in has never been an issue for me, but it's real simple. Set your iPhone 8 down on a compatible wireless charging pad or mat, and guess what? It starts charging. Fast charging is also new to the iPhone 8. This is a second Android-inspired feature that I'm really happy to see next to wireless charging. Apple says you'll be able to charge your battery to 50% from 0 in 30 minutes when you use a charger outputting more than 29 watts. But for some miraculous reason, Apple didn't include more than a 5-watt power adapter in the box, so to take advantage of this new feature, you'll have to go out and buy a second, stronger power brick. OnePlus and Samsung both include a fast charging power brick in the box, so there's no excuse for the lack of one on Apple's end. Then again, with the iPhone 8 you might not even need wireless charging or quick charging in the first place, because the battery life finally gets me through a day. Apple says that the iPhone 8 has about the same battery life as the iPhone 7, that's the actual verbiage that they use, but for me it's been a lot better. Noticeably better to the point where it hasn't needed charging before the end of the day yet, but I'm still skeptical because the physical battery on the inside is smaller than the iPhone 7, so we'll wait and see what happens after a few weeks of regular usage. All of this is good, but the 2 things that wound up impressing me the most this year were the features that I found the least interesting on paper. The specs for the front and rear cameras are all too similar to the iPhone 7, but the images from these cameras look remarkably and unrealistically better. The iPhone 8 shots are bright and vibrant without looking overexposed, filled with loads of detail even in low light, and do a great job of accurately portraying whatever it is that you're shooting. Compared to the iPhone 7 and the Samsung Galaxy S8, I don't think there's much competition. There's just no other way to say it than the iPhone 8's camera is better. The iPhone 8 is also the first big phone to put 4K video at 60 frames per second and 1080p video at 240 frames per second in the hands of millions of people around the globe. Just like the photos, the video is fantastic. I have a $1,500 DSLR that can't record 4K 60 FPS or 1080p 240 FPS video, and even though the quality of the high frame rate video on the iPhone isn't cinema level, it's not that far off, and this camera rig is in your pocket. Finally, last but certainly not least, we have the new A11 Bionic chip. The A11 makes the iPhone 8 the fastest phone on the market right now, outputting single-core Geekbench scores of 4,200 and multi-core scores of nearly 10,000 points. Contrary to even some of the latest Android flagships, the iPhone 8 doesn't lag, ever. It doesn't slow down, and it doesn't get tired. It just keeps jumping from task to task to task without even the thought of stopping anytime soon. The last thing you should know about the iPhone 8 is that it runs iOS 11. There's a groovy new control center, a number of new icons, and amazing augmented reality apps, along with a ton of other changes that make iOS 11 feel like Apple tweaked every pixel on every screen. There aren't any exclusive features for the iPhone 8, but stay tuned for the iPhone X because it looks like there are a lot of changes there. Even with the camera and processor upgrades, the iPhone 8 just isn't a standout product. Almost everything new here is new to the iPhone, but not to the smartphone market as a whole. But the iPhone 8 isn't a bad phone. It's actually really great, and I really like it, and I think you'll really like it too. Apple dropped the ball this year, and that's okay. They aren't relying on the iPhone 8 to bring their stock to an all-time high, and the iPhone 8 certainly wasn't created to be remembered as a landmark product. It's a placeholder for the future, a final tribute to how phones were designed before 2017. You should buy the iPhone 8 if you're in the market for an upgrade and you don't want the iPhone 10. Otherwise, don't. Wait until next year. There's just nothing special this time around.